Welcome to Mystery Chronicles, where we dive deep into some of the most intriguing and mysterious stories from around the world. Please like, comment, and subscribe. What if you could hear a voice from the past? Not just any voice, but the voice of a young girl. A girl full of hopes and dreams, just like any other girl her age. Her name was Anne Frank, and her voice reaches us today through her diary. This diary is a small book with a red and white checkered cover. It was a gift for her 13th birthday. She called it Kitty. This diary became her best friend. It held her deepest secrets. It held her fears. It held her incredible spirit. We are going to step into her world and see life through her eyes. Anne's diary is more than a book. It is a window into a time of great darkness and also into a bright young heart. Anne wrote about her life, her family, her friends, her school, the boy she liked. This is why her story touches so many. It feels personal and true. We will explore her world together. We will start with her normal life in Amsterdam and the warmth of her family. Then we will follow her into hiding, into a secret space behind a bookshelf, a place called the secret annex. This journey is a promise to listen to a voice almost lost forever. Anne wrote, "I want to go on living even after my death." And she did. Her diary made sure of that. Our story begins in Amsterdam in the year 1942. The Frank family had moved there from Germany in 1934. They were escaping the rising power of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. For a while, Amsterdam felt safe. It was a place to rebuild their lives. It was a normal life. But the world outside was changing. In May 1940, Germany invaded the Netherlands. The Nazi occupation began. Slowly, life for Jewish people like the Franks became very difficult. New laws were put in place to isolate them. Every day, their world grew smaller. So, in 1942, she was turning 13. For her birthday, she received a diary. As she writes in her first entry, "I hope I will be able to confide everything to you, as I have never been able to confide in anyone." Her first entries are filled with the cheerful energy of a happy, popular girl. But this diary was a gift in a world that was becoming less and less safe. In the early summer of 1942, the atmosphere grew even more tense. Rumors were spreading about call-up notices. Anne writes about the horror of seeing people being taken away, heading towards an unknown fate. The end of normal life came suddenly. On Sunday, July 5, 1942, a call-up notice arrived. But it was not for Otto or Edith. It was for 16-year-old Margot. Otto and Edith knew they had to act immediately. They had to wear as many layers of clothing as possible. Anne packed her school bag with the most important things, her diary. The next morning, they left their home for the last time. This was Anne's last walk in the open air for more than 2 years. She was just 13 years old. Finally, they arrived at 263 Prinsengracht. The address was home to Otto Frank's business. The entrance to their new home was a masterpiece of deception. It was hidden behind a movable bookcase. This was the gateway to the secret annex. The moment the bookcase swung shut behind them, the world changed. They were now in a self-contained universe. Anne and her father worked to decorate her small room. She was determined to make it her own, to bring her own dreams into this dark, confined space. Life in the secret annex was governed by a new and strange reality. From morning until evening, they had to be ghosts, absolute silence. Only evenings and weekends were a little freer. The radio was their only real link to the outside world, a lifeline of hope. 1 week later, the Van Pels family arrived. Suddenly, 7 people had to share the small space. The quiet, tense atmosphere became more complicated. In November 1942, an 8th person joined them, Fritz Pfeffer. Mr. Pfeffer had to share a room with Anne. The annex became a crowded, complex little society. They were a dysfunctional family, yes, but they were a family nonetheless bound by a shared secret. A significant part of Anne's journey was her evolving relationship with Peter Van Pels. The attic became their special place. Their friendship blossomed into a tentative, tender romance. She describes the thrill of their first kiss. This relationship was a source of immense joy. It was a reminder that even in a world of fear, the human heart can still find love and connection. A turning point came in the spring of 1944. The Dutch government in exile announced they would collect diaries after the war. She decided that after the war, she would publish a book based on her diary. This was the work of a serious writer. A writer was born. The morning of Friday, August 4th, 1944, began like any other. After 761 days in hiding, they had almost started to believe they were safe. Sometime between 10 and 11 in the morning, the unthinkable happened. An Austrian SS officer, Karl Silberbauer, accompanied by several armed Dutch policemen. They knew exactly where they were going. Upstairs in the annex, the residents heard the commotion. The secret that had been so carefully guarded for over 2 years was about to be exposed. The door swung open. The police ransacked the small rooms. Among the papers and books that fell was Anne's precious diary. In that moment of terror and chaos, the diary lay there, unnoticed. They were marched down the stairs and into the light of day. Their journey into the heart of the Nazi death machine had begun. They were transferred to the Westerbork transit camp. On September 3rd, 1944, they were put on the last transport ever to leave for Auschwitz. This was the moment of selection. This was the last time Otto Frank would ever see his wife and daughters. The family was violently torn apart. Anne and Margot were transported to Bergen-Belsen. Margot died first. A few days later, Anne also succumbed to typhus. Of the 8 people who hid in the secret annex, only one survived, Otto Frank. Back in Amsterdam, Miep Gies returned to the annex, and there, scattered on the floor, they found Anne's diary. In the summer of 1945, Otto Frank returned. It was then that Miep gave him the gift she had been saving. "Here is your daughter Anne's legacy," she told him. Reading the diary was a painful and astonishing experience for Otto. He met his daughter again through the pages of her diary. He realized that in his hands, he held the power to grant his daughter's last wish. The diary was first published in the Netherlands in 1947. Anne Frank's diary began a journey across the world. It teaches new generations about the dangers of intolerance, prejudice, and discrimination. Millions have walked behind the bookcase and stood in the small empty rooms where they hid. But her story also testifies to the resilience of the human spirit. In the darkest of times, Anne could still see a patch of blue sky. This unwavering hope is perhaps her most enduring legacy. Thank you for watching Mystery Chronicles. Please like, comment, and subscribe.